Imola is one of the classic circuits in F123, and it's a track that features a really fast and intense layout. There are a combination of fast and technical corners, with the tricky turns 11 and 12 really testing the driver's skill. Any Imola car setup has to result in a car which is stable through direction change and light on its toes. This approach will reward a driver with a fast and nimble car that will perform well during a race. Now, despite featuring fast corner sequences, we don't need to run an extremely low aero setup around Imola. There aren't too many long straights like you'll find at other low downforce tracks such as Monza and Spa, and this means that we can set our aero setup on the higher side. I've gone for a front wing setup of 30 and a rear wing setup of 28. This provides a good amount of responsiveness, which is required when you throw your car left and right through the fast chicanes. For the transmission setup, we'll follow the general rule of most F123 setups with a low on-throttle and off-throttle diff. Go for 57 on the on-throttle and 51 for the off-throttle diff setup. Setting the on-throttle diff higher than our normal 55% allows the rear wheels to push you through the faster corners a bit better, maintaining a higher minimum corner speed. But it's still low enough to provide good traction out of the slower corners such as turns 7 and 15. Our suspension geometry setup for Imola is very normal of any F123 setup, with camber to the far right and toe to the far left, although I haven't set the geometry to the very extremes. Instead, go with -2.7 and -1 for the camber, and 0.02 and 0.13 for the toe. We can get away with this approach as we don't need to worry too much about minimising drag from our toe setup, so we can increase both toe values a little for added responsiveness and stability. Go with 24 on the front suspension and 7 on the rear, then go for 8 on the front anti-roll bar and 2 on the rear. This is a pretty normal setup for F123 and keeps the car on its toes, yet it's still soft enough to handle the curbs throughout a lap. For the ride height, we can go a little lower around Imola than at some tracks. Go for 33 on the front and 36 on the rear. Now, I've set the brake pressure to 100% and the brake bias to 55%, and this is our normal approach, which prevents both front and rear locking and results in a pretty balanced brake setup. For the tyre setup, to round out our Imola car setup, go with 22.7 on both fronts and 20.3 on both rears. The increased front tyre pressures help with a little extra responsiveness, which is kind of the theme of this car setup, while the lower pressures help with both traction and preserving tyre wear. And that finalises our Imola car setup for F123. It's a really enjoyable track to race with pretty unique corner layouts combined with extremely fast sectors of track. With a car setup that can be pushed to the limit while remaining stable like this one can, you can really drive with consistency throughout a full race. Let me know if you like this car setup in the comments below, and also which car setup is your favourite so far. Also, make sure you're subscribed to our channel to be notified when I drop new F123 setup videos. But for now guys, enjoy this setup and I will see you on track.